And in business, Nigeria has launched the Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC, at State House in Abuja, a function officiated by President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, the unveiling of the eNaira is a culmination of several years of research by the country in advancing the boundaries of the payment system, making transactions easier and seamless. It adds that the country's banking community, fintech operators, merchants, and a cross-section of other stakeholders were involved in the design of this digital currency. Joining me on News Central now is Gospel Obele, Chief Economist, Streetnomics Limited. Hello, Gospel. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria says the eNaira digital currency will foster economic growth through better economic activities, increase remittances, improve financial inclusion, and make monetary policy more effective. How do you think it will achieve these feats?
Well, it's a very good design in the sense a lot of countries across the world now are beginning to introduce their own digital currency of some sort. Technically, it has the opportunity to grow some form of financial inclusion. It has the opportunity to serve the underbanked or the underserved if done correctly. And by the time you do all of that, you have a lot of digital transactions and more or less digital economic activities ongoing in that space. And that would also transform to increased GDP representation, especially for services, financial payments, and ICT bit of things.
Now, talking about other countries introducing their own digital currencies, Ghana's ECD is still in works and has not been launched. Like the eNaira, it will be pegged against the cedi. What impact would you say it will have on Ghana and the world at large?
To have a positive impact, all right, on the world at large. However, there are a lot of dynamics and enablers, in a sense, that must be put in place to ensure that that potential is being reached or maximized. For instance, this whole digital economy and industrializing for a digital economy is very important. We need to make internet access more affordable and ensure that it's affordable to the last mile. All right, we need to take out all states and all stakeholders who have been perceived to be digitally vulnerable in this space. All right, so technically more Nigerians need to be onboarded in the digital space. And then the telcos and the banks have to work more closely to ensure that this initiative is properly deployed. Also to the fact that commercial banks have to properly align with what the central bank intends to do with these dynamics. And what we've seen over time, in time past, especially in the traditional banking space, has been that the telcos and the commercial banks, always have a hard time together trying to agree on rates and all of that. Yes, you may say that the eNaira eliminates all of that, but there's still concerns around how those three parties will work effectively. Until that can happen, and a critical chunk of Nigerians are onboarded on that digital banking space, we may not be able to think of competitiveness as at a regional and at a global scale. So we have a lot of homework to do in a sense.
Right. With all of these factors, do you see a full adoption of the digital currency?
Well, there are different angles to digital adoption. There are different ways to define digital adoption. First of all, the current model is to a large extent, all right, suited for those who are currently in the formal banking space, all right. And then again, there's an issue around awareness. The issues around what the central bank intentions are. There's a communication gap here, and I'm scared about how much of people who have conventional bank accounts would actually onboard the eNaira as a solution. Those who have onboarded it are having one or two expected technical issues onboarding as well. So a lot of homework and internal cleanups that need to happen, as well as ensuring that the eNaira model stretches to the last average Nigerian who is already digitally deprived, all right, who is underbanked and underserved, in terms of financial services and all that. So until that coverage can happen, we cannot even think of sustainability. The effectiveness of the eNaira program is threatened upon launch and many other things. So commercial banks have to do a lot more work in communications and in onboarding the conventional pool into that space first, before you now think of reaching the last mile and the average Nigerian in different parts of the country to a large extent.
All right. According to the Central Bank of Nigeria, The digital currency has its own underlying technology called blockchain, and that enables the government to send direct payments to citizens eligible for specific welfare programs, as well as foster cross-border trade. Now, is this sustainable? And mobile money has not been fully accepted in Nigeria. Will the eNaira surpass it in adoption?
Yeah, so what you have there is that we're trying to do the last things first and do the first things last. So our rollouts are, from our rollout, you can see a lot of pressure around things. It started from February when the central bank governor banned cryptocurrencies. And that led to a lot of pressure in the FX space, and it's revealed so clearly that there was a huge lack of understanding around cryptocurrencies and how we can begin to encourage that blockchain technology in the across fintech space, and across cross-border trading and the likes. But then the central bank chose to ban it, which was a very wrong move in a sense and very premature move. So that led to a lot of pressure in dealing FX and engaging. So the only counter move, like I literally had expected in January, was to introduce its own e-currency, and that's exactly what happened. All right, and the central bank has chosen to present itself as a monopolistic institution in that space. All right, so rather July, so yeah, and sometime in July, August, ban some fintechs from operating. All right, seize their licenses and all that. That's just to tell you that there is little or no collaboration in that space. So, it threatens heavily on the future of cross-border trading and all that, not exactly in the way we're talking about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Gospel. That's all we can take for today. Thanks a lot for joining me.